Message us at 925-3261 on WhatsApp today and get active with Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Doctor's Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. JN Money, from abroad to Yad. And Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Monday, the 13th day of July 2026, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We do hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable weekend. Those of you who are on our roads, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, because the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a happy birthday or a happy belated birthday, whichever is applicable, and to remind you that the For the Record birthday shoutouts are brought to you by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands. You should accept no substitutes. From generation to generation, Coca-Cola is still a Cayman classic. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery. And again this morning, big shout out to our colleague here at Radio Cayman, Mr. Joel Wilson. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and then by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. If you're calling from a toll-free number, if you're calling from a floor number, we have a toll-free number for you. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990, WhatsApp number 925-3261. We have a change in schedule this morning. We did have guests scheduled to be in the studio from 8:15 to 9 o'clock. So that time frame will be open now. We will have guests at 9 o'clock this morning as well, from 9 to 10. So the phone lines will be open from now until 9 o'clock. And first of all, let's look at the birthday shout-outs that have been sent to us. We shall start. So this is coming from Miss Chastain. Happy birthday, Kenrick Webster. He's celebrating his birthday today. On Tuesday, Honorable D. Ezard Miller celebrating his birthday. Current Speaker of our Parliament. He's celebrating his birthday tomorrow, along with Mr. Merlin Wells and Dilma Velasquez. Dilma Velasquez. Also, we have our usual Facebook ones, always regularly and timely supplied by none other than Miss Susan Watson to us as well. Mr. Winston Connolly celebrating his birthday today. Today, yeah. Winston Connolly, Wayne Burrows, and that's all that we have there. Let's look at these dates and see. These were all on the 11th that we announced on Friday. If you know someone who's celebrating a birthday or any other momentous occasion, please share that information with us right here on For the Record, and we will give them a birthday shout out. Also, this one, I have to declare an interest, a family member. So, Mr. Amari Hamilton, he graduated from university in the UK on Friday. He graduated with honors, and I must say it has been a pleasure and an inspiration watching him achieve good grades from his early age, which is, of course, is a testament to his dedication and hard work. And it shows that if you're dedicated and you work hard, it will eventually pay off as well. So these greetings are coming from his entire family as well. So Amara Hamilton, and he has plans to go on to do a master's degree as well in port management. Those plans are to take place in one of the Nordic countries as well. And, he has been supported, really given all support by the Port Authority. He has worked during the summer, during his summer breaks at the Port Authority as well, and has received a tremendous amount of support from the Port Authority. Extremely thankful for that as well. So again, Amari, congratulations to you. Extremely proud of you, folks. If you know someone in your family or otherwise who's graduating, please send that information to us, and we will certainly give them a shout out right here on For the Record. I have another young Caymanian that we want to give a shout out to as well. So this is in relation to Miss Marva Solomon's granddaughter. She's Caymanian American, and she won wrestling championship. She won the 55 kilogram medal at the U.S. What is it called? The Pan American Championships as well. So congratulations to her. That's Solomon family. They're doing well in the sports area as well. Of course, the young man who was drafted 25th in the National Hockey League just recently as well. So want to send out congratulations to him again, and congratulations to the whole entire family for their achievements as well. And again, folks, right here on For the Record on Radio Cayman, we give you an opportunity to pay homage, to highlight the achievements of our young Caymanians. If you know someone, please share that information with us, because we will certainly give them a shout out right here on For the Record as well. Have another message. Good morning, Mr. Connor. Trust that you're having a lovely morning. I'd like to send happy birthday wishes to my eldest and beautiful granddaughter, Grace Christian. Welcome. Wishing her a most blessed and safe birthday. That's coming from her grandmother Blondie and Papa Norman. And we know Miss Blondie and her husband, Mr. Norman, they also are loyal listeners to Radio Cayman as well. I have one more. Here's another one. Just a friendly reminder to please mention an article in the Compass as per my email sent on Friday. Thank you. Yes. I have to find that article and read that as well. Okay. I had one more here that okay, here we go. This is from Miss Lucille, and the Honorable Kenneth Bryan recently celebrated his birthday as well, and this is what she wanted to share. It says, on your birthday, I want to acknowledge the encouragement you bring to your people every single day. Whether you are presenting in Parliament, checking on the parks, meeting with residents, or speaking on television, you reaffirm your leadership, that leadership is service. Your work shows that you care deeply about Cayman, about social progress, about reducing poverty, and about ensuring that every constituent has a fair chance. You are a genuine, grounded, and compassionate leader. Happy birthday. May God continue to bless, continue to guide your steps, and strengthen your mission for our islands. And that was from Miss Lucille Seymour to Mr. Honorable Kenneth Bryan on his birthday as well. I believe we have a caller on hold, but we are going to take a commercial break. When we return, we will take that caller, so please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The World Cup is here! Make every watch party a Domino's party. Whether your awesome boss is swapping out the copier for a big screen or you're feeling the energy at home, make it a Domino's party with the World Cup meal deal. 1 large pizza and 2 cans of Coca-Cola for just $19.99. Don't stress the mess. You have enough to worry about during the match. Domino's, the perfect matchday combo straight to your door. Cayman's favorite pizza and the refreshing taste of Coca-Cola. The Domino's World Cup meal deal. Just $19.99. Order now and make every match a winner.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money transfers to financial institutions, making life easier.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget, our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have a caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, my good friend there, O.C. Connor.
Hey, good morning. How art thou?
I'm good. I, too, would like to... Well, I did send Deputy Leader Brian birthday wishes, but I'll do it now publicly also, and to let him know that I don't know about anyone else, but I am waiting on my gift from him, because I think elected members, instead of us giving them gifts, they should go around giving us gifts, celebrating their birthday. How do you think? Is that a good one? Go. No, see?
Yes.
You think you want that election time they can suck up to us? To us on their birthday too? Oh no.
That would be a long birthday list, though, for every constituent.
Well, 4 years.
A lot of money circulating, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, see, this one is for, I guess, me and you. I attended a funeral for one of our classmates. God bless her soul, may she rest in peace. And at the graveyard, one of the most, beautiful chocolate skin looking young lady, Caymanian lady, girl, came up to me and said, "Oh, how I appreciate you and Mr. O.C. in the morning." And this is a young female Caymanian, very beautiful O.C. And even her, young people tend not to listen to certain dialect, but she told me that she appreciate me and you in the mornings when we're in our dialect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, see, I notice whenever there's an issue or there's anything implemented or anything that will affect outsiders, work permit or whoever, if we implement something where we change the rollover policy, we implement some fees that only will affect them. And when I say affect, well, it'll be them too, that it's geared towards. Not that it'll affect them, because a lot of them come here and make more money than they ever make in their whole life, right? So there's always a cry out, and some of them even go as far as criticizing Caymanians and the likes. But see, I don't think that they have the right to do that, because here we are, 78 square miles and 100 and something different nationalities, and I don't hear no Caymanian running around trying to pop nobody's head or like spitting on them when they walk by, like how they do our Caymanians in England that are there studying, not to work, just to study, and with Cayman government money paying, so they're not there taking away any jobs like the English people would always say to them. But I say that to say this. I notice now that there's a lot of African people from the African continent who are here working in very, very upscale jobs. And I'm quite sure they're getting a lot more pay than they were getting wherever they came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they too are becoming a little obnoxious, a little feisty with our local people, I understand. But back home, the African countries, which I think Africa should just be one place, but because of the split up, the way the English and the French split it up, you got now Africans don't want Africans in Africa. You got Africans who's kicking against Africans passing the border, what you would call the border of their country, going into their country and obtaining jobs or benefits or something like that.
But we shouldn't blame the Africans, for that. 1866, I believe it was. I have to look at the date again, but there was an occurrence, something called the carving up of Africa.
Of Africa, yeah.
Right. So you see, where that's when Africa was divided up between all of the colonial countries. They had no regard whatsoever for tribal connections, linguistic issues, and stuff like that. They just carved it up because of the whatever value, minerals, oil, whatever they had. The Belgians, the English, the Dutch, the Portuguese, the French. So we shouldn't blame the Africans for that, because let me tell you, a lot of people don't acknowledge it. And some still, when people talk about reparations and everything else, they say, we need to get past that. Now, those things linger and are passed on. The legacies of those things are passed on from generation to generation to generation. We have not yet recovered from the effects of slavery.
You mean we have not yet free ourselves from mental slavery?
We still have that mental. Yes.
But for some time now, most of the countries have been taken over politically in leadership by Africans, the real original indigenous Africans. So how long will it take for them to free themselves from that mental slavery that you're making a mention of? They're in full control, some of the countries. We have Abraham Tyree from Burkina Faso. How you say that, OC?
Burkina Faso.
Yeah. Now making strides and trying to do things, and you have Africans that are not in line with him or not agreeing with everything or the things that he's doing. You only got 3 or 4, I think, that's joining him. So that's no excuse. I don't want you.
Well, and those colonial powers still have a lot of influence in there, because a lot of the industry is still controlled by them. The Chinese now, they're making their mark, over there as well. They have a huge footprint in Africa as well.
But what the Chinese are saying is that we're not here to take over, or we're not here to colonialize.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he's saying in Jamaica too. Isn't that?
It's all about spheres of influence.
So they say they never colonialize nobody, and they never bomb nobody or raid nobody country. So they're there for economic reasons. But still, the African political leaders will see they have the power to change whatever can be changed. But forget about them now. What I'm saying is that people that come here should appreciate our behavior, our friendliness, and the ability that they have to be able to come here, drive a nice car, get a nice job, and nobody is being derogatory to them. Nobody's thing, but yet they are now trying to expose their behavior.
I'm going to say one more thing, and I'm going to ask you to leave us. But until 9 o'clock, the phone lines are going to be open. We're going to show you here. I would say that many people, some people would say that our concerns should be with those quote unquote Africans that come to the Cayman Islands, that come from countries that supported and legalized racial separation. That is where our concern should be. And I'm, without naming any country whatsoever in that regard, that is where concerns should be. With that, Lord Graham, I'm going to ask you to leave us there so we can grab one more caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, OC. This is Barry here. Interesting topic. Graham always has some interesting things to say. And what I would also like to say is, I think in the past when we've heard former politicians in this country say that they expect our population to rise, to me it makes sense now why those statements were made, because if you can see what's happening to the UK and to other European countries, it deceives me to see the stupidity in having open borders. I mean, my God, we have trouble with 29 Cubans. Heaven forbid if we was to have a government that would say, that would actually encourage and invite, let's say even 10,000 migrants to come to Cayman. And I literally mean that, and encourage and invite, because that's what's taking place.
But is it the government inviting them, or is it the business community applying for work permits for these people to come here?
No, well, in our case is work permits.
Right.
But some of these bigger countries that you would think that would have a head on their shoulder, you know, when you can allow other countries to basically empty their insane asylums, their prisons, and I'm almost sure that you can include young militants in that. And
so, are you talking about Caribbean countries, or are you talking about North America and places like Canada?
I'm talking about North America. I'm talking about Europe. Most of Europe, with what they're doing with open borders.
Mm-hmm. So you're an anti-immigrant person. You're against immigration.
I am for immigration. We need immigration, but you gotta have
control.
People gotta assimilate. People got to assimilate in one's country, in another.
And when you say assimilate, what you mean? Give up their customs and adopt ours, or adopt ours as well as being able to practice theirs?
Well, they can practice theirs once it doesn't violate. Okay, you take for instance. Maybe I shouldn't go down that route, but. If I come to your country and to better myself, when it comes to the laws, especially the laws, I should have known that I got to adjust myself to those laws.
And if you don't, then if you break the laws, then you get prosecuted.
Right. Okay. Okay. You take for instance Cayman. Cayman is a perfect example. We have multinationalities and we'll see people will just celebrate this on Honduras Day, America Day, Filipino Day, and there's no problem. There's no, like Mr. Graham said, there's no spitting on people. There's no people.
I got about a half a minute before we're going to have to go to our 8 o'clock news.
Mr. Graham always comes up with some good topics, and I agree with what he's saying. It's been a while since I've been on the radio. I'm going to try to call back again, but
okay. The phone lines are going to be open after the news, after 8 o'clock news, around about 8:15. We have a guest coming in around about 9 o'clock. So if you want to continue the conversation, please feel free to call back. Yeah.
And you keep up the great job, Mr. Osei.
Thank you.
You've been doing a great job.
Thank you very much, and thanks for listening, and thanks for calling as well. Folks, we've reached that time, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller.
We would be looking to embrace technology.
Deputy Governor, the Honorable Gloria McField-Nixon, says the civil service is looking to innovate as it serves a growing population.
We have already in place an AI policy. There's been excellent infrastructure that's been put in place to augment our civil service workforce, giving us the means to be able to use technology to better support what has been the fastest growing population.
Ms. McField-Nixon says as government responds to a growth in demand for services, the civil service will be leaning more on digital tools to enhance productivity.
I've already had my first senior leadership team meeting, and in that meeting, chief officers were receiving their updated executive dashboards, real-time information about what is their single largest area of expense, which is headcount against budget, expenditure against budget, and working with the Ministry of Finance to give them greater electronic tools for how they can forecast what this means in the future.
Another area she'll be tackling is organization. She says there are, quote, opportunities to streamline the way the civil service delivers its services, particularly with regards to human resources, communication, and finance. If you're flying between July 16th and 21st, heads up, you may be affected by the planned SpaceX Starship Flight Test 13. The airport's authority says temporary airspace restrictions associated with the test may affect some flights operating to and from the Cayman Islands. The launch trajectory passes through airspace in the northwestern Caribbean, which is requiring temporary restrictions issued by the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration space operations. According to SpaceX, the test flight is preparing to launch as soon as Thursday, and temporary airspace restrictions are expected to be in place starting at 5 p.m. and lasting about an hour if the launch is successful. However, if the launch is delayed, the restrictions could remain in effect through 8 p.m., so passengers are encouraged to check the status of their flights and allow additional time for changes. 55 employees at the Department of Environmental Health's solid waste facility have weighed in at the first on-site health, safety, and environment culture survey. The Health Ministry is developing standard operating procedures covering incident notification, risk management, and workplace inspections initially focused on the DEH, alongside new workplace health and safety legislation to, quote, strengthen protections and support safer workplaces. Ministry for Health, Safety, and Environment Specialist, Osei Alexander.
Before we can effectively lead change, it is essential that we listen to our employees, understand their experiences, and gain insight into the existing HSE culture across operational areas.
In 2023, a safety and compliance officer was appointed at the Mosquito Research and Control Unit. An initial audit revealed safety compliance at only 3%. After 2 years of structured improvements, government says compliance rose to 40%. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. British regulators have approved human trials of a new vaccine to tackle the Ebola outbreak. The Serum Institute of India has already manufactured more than 600 million doses for future potential use. Meanwhile, health officials in Kinshasa say the outbreak has now spread to 2 new Congolese provinces, including the populous northeastern city of Kisangani. Iranian state television says Iran has fired warning shots at 2 ships attempting to cross the Strait of Hormuz. Earlier, Iran carried out a barrage of attacks against US military assets in Jordan, Bahrain and Kuwait, as well as radar systems in Oman. The internationally recognized Yemeni government says its forces targeted the runway at Sana'a airport in order to prevent an Iranian plane from landing. The Houthis, who control the capital, accused Saudi Arabia of shelling the airport and said the kingdom would bear the consequences. A court in Germany has convicted an Iraqi couple of enslaving 2 Yazidi girls in Iraq. They were found guilty of war crimes, genocide and crimes against humanity, as well as membership of the Islamic State group. BBC News with Emily Thomas.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Hi everyone, this is Paulette Connolly. One of my favorite memories of Radio Cayman growing up was listening to the radio comedy Clitheroe Kid after I had completed my homework in the evening.
We present Jimmy Clitheroe as the Clitheroe Kid.
And then in 1980, after joining the staff of the station, I was one of the announcers who played the program on air for our listeners. Happy 50th anniversary, Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 85 degrees. Relative humidity is 91%. The barometric pressure, 1017 millibars. The wind is out of the east at 6 knots. Synopsis indicate moderate winds and seas are expected across the Cayman Islands for the next 24-hour period. Isolated showers are expected from tomorrow morning as a tropical wave moves into the northwest Caribbean. Radar imagery show isolated showers between Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. The forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a slight haze and a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the low to mid 90s with a heat index of 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Your winds will be east at 10 to 15 knots and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Forecast for tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with cloudy spells and a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures dipping to the low to mid 80s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Today's high tide, we're presently at a high tide, and the next low tide will be this afternoon at 2:46 and a high tide again tonight at 9:34. The sun will set this evening at 6 minutes past 7 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:56. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Wednesday morning as a tropical wave lingers west of the Cayman area. The upper level will remain supportive for precipitation throughout the period. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
We were set to battle, and your Aunt Angie was leading the pack when...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with car damage?
Oh, right. Well, long story story long, I took down the assassins and wound up inventing a new form of mixed martial arts. I became an international champion until one sore loser karate kicked my car. But I was covered with CG.
Covered for malicious damage and more. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. is brought to you by The Light Room. Tired of being unwell and struggling to find the energy and vitality to live the life you desire? Come get recharged from the inside out at The Light Room. Our non-invasive, holistic energy enhancement system detoxifies and energizes the body, enabling self-healing and balance. Book online at www.thelightroom.ky or call 938-HEAL, 38 Pasadora Place, GT.
The Passport and Corporate Services Office is urging all residents to verify the validity of their travel documents and take steps to protect them ahead of the hurricane season, which starts the 1st of June. Residents are advised to check passport expiry date, verify entry requirements for their destination, apply for or renew passports and visas early, and make copies of passports and key documents and store them in waterproof containers. For more information, call 345-649-7678 or email passportandcorporate@gov.ky.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Hey, good morning. Let's check in with traffic, see what's flowing. Flowing pretty good coming from the east on Shamrock Road. As you approach the Linford Pearson Highway, steady but flowing traffic. And traffic moving at a moderate pace coming off of Bobby Thompson Way and continuing on to Huldah Avenue. Edward Street flowing pretty good, and on Shedden Road, traffic is moderate in both directions, as well as on the Westway Road in front of the Ritz. Steady but flowing traffic coming off of the Esley Tibbetts Highway. North Sound Road moving at a moderate pace in both directions. Industrial Park area flowing pretty good. Coming off of the Linford Pearson Highway and Agnes Way, traffic is at a moderate pace. And on Cool Road, flowing moderately in both directions. If you've seen accidents, let us know by calling us at 949-6990. And remember, click it or ticket. Hear it, do it, and don't forget it.
Start your year off right with Subway's Fresh Fit menu. 4 protein-packed subs with 20 grams or more protein, under 500 calories, and loaded with full servings of crisp veggies on hearty multi-grain bread. Try the grilled chicken and avocado, the ham and turkey stacker, the seasoned steak and avocado, or the turkey and ranch delight. Big flavor, plenty of protein, and fresh veggies in every bite. Fuel your day the Fresh Fit way. Only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Radio K-Man Super Jam Show. The #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
Brought to you by these kind sponsors. The Cayman Islands Football Association, SIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
Cayman Insurance Center.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call me today, Michael Webster, at 925-5433.
UWI Open Campus, on-site, online, and on demand.
Visit open.uwi.edu. Call them today at 946-8322.
And Coca-Cola, from generation to generation, still a Cayman classic.
The #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
Radio Cayman News.
It's the end of an era.
The Honorable Franz Manderson has walked out of the government administration building for the last time.
I see how much the civil service love and respect me, and I want them to know that the feeling is mutual. Thank you.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
7 days a week.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We will have guests in the studio at 9 o'clock. Meanwhile, one of our listeners sent me a copy of an article in the Compass. I'm going to ask you to just hold off on your phone calls if you're planning on calling, just to give me an opportunity to share this. And then maybe you may have some comments in relation to it. So this was an article in the Compass on the 2nd of July, written by Mr. James Whitaker, and it's entitled "Outdated Land Acquisition Law Leaves Landowners Out of Pocket." And we have heard members of Parliament here in the studio from the Progressives, and even the minister himself speak to the fact the regrets about the delays in compensation, and people who really need it are not being compensated in a timely manner. So the article says that government has voted $5 million in new funding to pay outstanding compensation claims on land taken for road development, and committed to reform legislation to ensure a fairer deal for property owners in the future. Currently, Cayman Islands landowners who have homes or property taken for new roads face being shortchanged because of the island's outdated laws on involuntary land acquisitions. MPs acknowledged that payouts often take years to process and are frequently based on outdated valuations that don't reflect the correct market value. The revelation came across two separate debates in Parliament over the past week. Speaking during a Finance Committee session on the 30th of June, Lands Minister J.E. Banks said government needed additional funds to clear up outstanding compensation claims. He said government is in the midst of a, and I quote, clean up, close of quote, exercise to get everybody paid up to date. I can't say this takes care of every single claim, but it does take care of a lot of them going back to at least decades, he said. Government has also committed to reforming involuntary land acquisition legislation to ensure people are paid on time and at market value in future. Parliament supported a motion to review the Roads Law and the Land Acquisitions Act. Then there's a heading that says sometimes years to settle. Under current law, landowners are only required to be compensated based on a property valuation from the time a road was gazetted. The formal announcement that triggers compensation claims, but it can take several years for work to actually begin and the payments to be processed. In many cases, the value of the property has increased substantially in the interim, and by the time the landowner is actually paid, it can be decades later and well beyond the market value. But I guess these are my words now, but they still being paid at the valuation of the land at the time that it was acquired. That is crazy. In any other situation, you would at least have to pay interest, if nothing else, on it. But you should be paid at, today's value. So you didn't get the money 10 years ago to be able to spend it. So you're getting money 10 years later at 10 years previous value. So you could be losing substantially. Government, you can't do that. You can't do that. Opposition leader Joey Hugh brought a private member's motion to Parliament last week calling for the law to be updated. He acknowledged this was a long-standing issue that spanned multiple government administration. That is right. So not just this current government, others as well. Fair payment in a reasonable time. Hughes said government does need the right to take land for public purpose, particularly for roads. But when it does so, he said, Cayman's people are entitled under the Constitution to a fair payment within a reasonable period of time. When government exercises one of the most significant powers available to it, we must ensure that it does so in a manner that is fair, transparent, and respectful to the constitutional rights of our people. It is not fair compensation eventually, or fair compensation when government gets around to it. It has to be fair compensation within a reasonable time frame. He said there were often significant time periods between the valuation of the property and the payment of the claim. The market does not stand still, he said. Sometimes disputes over fair value of land can drag the process out even longer. In some cases, landowners are left waiting decades for payment. I would even say that some have passed on without getting payment as well. In one such case, previously reported by the Compass, the landowner died before the claim was settled, as the dispute dragged through the courts for more than a decade. Having to take the government to court for your own property. Cayman Islands, is that what we are all about? Those are my words, sorry for you. The article goes on to say that Hughes cited a more recent instance involving an elderly couple from the Rock Hole of Grand Cayman. Sorry about that article, from the Rock Hole of Grand Cayman. If you really know about Rock Hole in Grand Cayman, it's from Rock Hole in Grand Cayman, who have their land, home, and rental properties taken for a road development. Government valued the property in 2008 and is only now moving to acquire it. Hugh acknowledged government was working to find a solution, but said that under the letter of the law, they are not required to do so. The case is an extreme example of a phenomenon that routinely impacts landowners tied up in government compensation claims. Deputy Opposition Leader and Georgetown Central MP Kenneth Bryan cited two similar cases in his constituency. In one case, he said a retired civil servant had her property taken and is awaiting a fair payout more than 4 years later. He said the land had a rental property on it, but she has received no compensation for the loss of the building or for lost rental income. He said the property was described by valuation surveyors as a wooden shack. He accepted that it was not something that could be built under current planning laws, but said it was adequate enough to provide her with $1,300 per month. Now she has to put her pride aside and ask family members to help her put food in the fridge. I'm going to skip some of this and go on to another paragraph that talks about Minister. We have to pay a fair price. Minister for Planning and Infrastructure, J.E. Banks, acknowledged this was a long-standing problem with multiple road projects in motion, including a major highway extension through the eastern districts. Many more compensation claims are likely in the coming years, he said, and it was important that the issue was resolved. And here's a quote: "We need to pay people at the current market value once we take the land for the roads." That is good. That is good that the minister has highlighted that, so we would expect that to happen. He noted that landowners also lose the ability to develop or capitalize on their property once it is gazetted for road development. And he accepted that it was government's responsibility to be fair when it claimed people's land. Ebanks said government was already negotiating in good faith, even in cases where the law does not require it to do so. But he acknowledged the legislation should be updated to ensure a fair deal across the board. The motion passed without opposition. Ebanks said we will work as hard as we can to get this sorted out. So again, I want to thank that listener and that person who's been affected by it. And I'm going to share what that person has written as well. That she wrote. She said, "Dear Mr. Whitaker, thank you for your article published in last Friday's Compass titled Outdated Land Acquisition Law Leaves Landowners Out of Pocket. This article highlights what many Caymanian families are dealing with, including my family. It was ironic, as I had recently thought about reaching out to you to tell you our story, but unfortunately, because of the way things are going, it seems like we will be heading to court to seek fair compensation for land which the government took from my family to widen a road. Because of this, I am unable to tell you our story, but what I can say is that I have been personally working on this matter for over 5 years, and it has been most frustrating. Based on my experience so far and the experience of others who are waiting on compensation, I have reason to believe that government has no intention of paying fair compensation to the property owners." I hope and I trust that the writer and the family, that they have a little bit more comfort level based on what Minister J. Ebanks has said, that people will be compensated at fair market value, current market value as well. I believe that will be the case, and we should hold the government to that. One observation that I have in relation to this as well, and I must say, first of all, let me say that I support the government's initiative in terms of acquiring land, valuable land for Caymanians to be held in the name of the Cayman Islands and spending money to do so. What I would say is that I doubt that any of those property owners that who government purchased land from for the purposes of beach access or just to retain it for Caymanians, whether or not any of them had to wait for their payment, because government's getting the land, fair exchange, money appropriated for it, they had money in their budget for it, and they paid for it. Similar, the same should take place as far as property that has been acquired for involuntary acquisition of property. That should take place as well. Same way that we are able to pay for a good cause, for property, let's do the same thing for those people who have been denied use of their property and have been denied the ability to earn from that property as well. We do have a caller on hold, but let's go to our commercial break first. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Phone lines are open now. There's a caller who was trying to call on WhatsApp on a few occasions, but we didn't reach that caller. So I'm going to tell that caller, please try calling in now. Meanwhile, we do have a caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Thank you, O.C. It's me again.
Me again. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, O.C. Charmin, you know what you were just saying. Whoever in the government that are responsible for compensating Caymanians for their land that might have been passed down to them from generations should be ashamed of themselves for not compensating those people in a timely fashion. Because I know of outsiders who come here who claim that they were unjust by law or whatever, and they sue the government and was paid very quickly. I think one of them was a judge one time. He got him money quick. I got another friend who I'm not going to call his name, the judge of my friend. He got paid very quickly, 1-point-something million, right? And 1 minute we're saying, we're talking on two sides of our mouth now. 1 minute we're saying to Caymanians, do not sell your land. You must, if anything, lease your land. Keep it in your family to pass down, right? But no, you're going to take my land, and then you're not going to want to compensate me for it. Suppose those people that are waiting for compensation, just sit back and don't say anything or don't do anything. You really think that the government or whoever going to step up and decide to pay them if they don't say anything?
And say, by the way, we owe you some money.
Right. Oh, we owe you some money. We don't forget that. We're coming. I don't think those people receive that kind of call. Because if they did, then they would probably say that, and they might have said that, they say they got to pay me next week, but they have passed next week. They would have said that, but the people are not being communicated with for the repayment for compensation of their land, and that is a shame, for the government to treat the Cayman people for their land when we know land now is so scarce.
Yeah, and we should say governments, plural, all of them.
Yeah, all of them, government, not just this government,
right.
Because I think they got a lot of outstanding cases similar to this one where land was taken away for the purpose of roads. That's the only thing look like they're taking the land for now. More cars, something that I think should be stopped right away. Cars again, more parking lots for cars, historic building being knocked, house being knocked down only to park cars. No, we got to do better.
Yep.
We got to do better. So they need to pay the people and they need to pay them compensation for any monies that might have been lost because, like I heard you they call in mention compensation for funds that might have been lost because of rental income.
Yep.
All that need to be put in place.
But not only that, if they're trying to pay you now in at the value of $1, that $1 was 10 years ago, you know, not making any adjustments for inflation. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Well, see, I'm asking for the value today, and not when you took it. You took too long to pay me.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to pay me the value today.
But Lord Graham, one of the things I must say also that sometimes this happens, and I'm not saying this is the case, when we rely on old colonial legislation. Because remember now, when the colonial powers, they were looking to maximize whatever they can. So when we start to rely on old colonial legislation and we don't go and amend it so that it takes into consideration that we are now dealing with our own people, that's what happens as well.
My call earlier, we talk about freeing ourselves from this mental. Now you're talking about colonial thing again.
Well, you know me. My thesis.
When are we going to make those amendments? I talked to you talk about making amendments before, not really reinventing the wheel, but let's make some amendments to come to suit our daily now living today, our existence today. Let's bring some amendments. Just bring some amendments down to the House and make some amendments. I remember when the Honorable Mckeeva Bush got in, you imagine the slave law, labor law, was still in place when Mr. Bush was elected. It was him who changed that, see? Up until then, the slave law for labor was still in place. So we need to step up. We need to step up. Come on, step up and make the amendments that we need to make, right? And we cannot be treating our natives like that, or see.
Don't say natives. Don't say that. That's a colonial word too.
So what am I saying? Still, I'm struggling because on your show, I'm still confused about what I am. So I have not downgrade, but I have titled myself as Easterner because every soul I meet now or sees a Caymanian.
Well, I personally believe that if my family, going way back, had a choice of names, that it would not be Connor.
No?
No, it wouldn't be Connor. Because that's a English name. It would not be Connor.
Adopted.
Yes.
That was put on you.
Yeah.
No choice.
Exactly. Involuntary naming.
Voluntarily named. Yeah.
Okay. I want to grab one more caller. Anything else before you go? Very quickly.
Okay, Mr. X. All right, later.
Take care. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good spirits. Happy to be alive.
Great.
I want to confer with my cousin Graham. And I'm going to start by saying this. I have been having conversations, and I have permission to call his name.
Okay.
Mr. Bobby Thompson. I have been having conversations with this man, and this man is very perturbed because the Linford Pearson Highway, this man has had his land used and not compensated for. Most recently, when they did the redevelopment and they changed the roundabout and they made an additional 4 lanes over to the left side, more of this man's land was taken. And until now, the man has not been compensated. NRA should be, well, I can't even find the word to say. But these people are heartless. This is a generational Caymanian with land. And this man is now in his 90s. And they have taken this man's land, have not compensated him for it. That is totally ridiculous. I have been giving him some pointers and also told him to go through one of his sons, which is a good friend of mine, and to get a lawyer and sue the pants off of them, because you cannot take somebody's land and don't compensate them for it.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you can use the land because of developments for roads, for highways, and so on. But then you have to get compensated for your land.
And caller, I am told that this gentleman has been very cooperative as far as government is concerned, in relation to acquiring his properties. He's cooperated. He's assisted in every way that he could.
And still been taken advantage of.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, caller, thank you. Thank you very much for that. One of our listeners has written and said, "Morning, OC. What will be interesting is what this motion is when this motion is debated in September. It comes out that both the leader of the opposition and the deputy PO, whose constituency boundaries fall on each side of the road going through Rock Hole, and who both, when they were in government, held up compensation process for the NRA and Lands and Survey, had come to agreement about paying the respective landowners, but due to both of their influences as MPs for each section, the contractual process was held up." Okay, so question there, were the contractual processes held up because they felt that the landowners weren't being properly compensated? I'm not sure, because there in the past, I can't say for now, but in the past also, there were horror stories about the Lands and Survey Department and the valuation of property, especially property held by Caymanians who needed to be compensated, and they were always lowballing the Caymanian property owners, lowballing them. I don't know why. Yes, civil servants have to be neutral. They have to follow the law. At the end of the day, they have to follow the law. In some instances, they're not able to be flexible in any way, but I have heard stories of valuations given in the private sector and government's valuation being so much lower because they're lowballing Caymanians in that regard. With that, we're going to take a commercial break. Ms. Susan, I don't know if the WhatsApp is still working, but there's a call coming through from that. Let's take the commercial break, and we will take the caller after. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay Mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Babe, not tonight. You keep poking me and I need to be rested for meetings tomorrow.
What? I was almost asleep. That's the mattress spring I keep telling you about, not me.
we really need to get a new mattress.
Tossing and turning, back hurting, can't sleep? It might be time to turn in your old mattress and go to bed with a new one. Browse the huge mattress showroom at Brand Source Home Gallery and pick the perfect mattress today. With mattresses to suit every budget, Brand Source Home Gallery stocks a wide selection of sizes and styles like pillow top and gel memory foam. So stop tossing and turning and sleep better tonight with a new mattress from Brand Source Home Gallery, Dawson Drive, Industrial Park.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Hey teens, ready for the best weekend of your summer? Step away from the noise and step into purpose. 3 days of faith, friends, and fun. Games, laughter, wonderful moments, powerful worship, team activities, and memories that last a lifetime. The Youth Retreat, July 24th to 26th, hosted by the Church of God Full Gospel Hall in Georgetown. Admission is just $50, covering your t-shirt. Food and lodging for the weekend. Ages 13 to 19 are welcome. Check-in starts Friday, 5:30 p.m. To register, call or WhatsApp Sister Maxine Roberts at 927-4225 or Kendra at 924-5736.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Do we have any calls on hold, Ms. Susan? Okay, caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, Mr. Connor. How are you today,
Good
sir?
morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, hanging in. Quick question. Good topic you're speaking about this morning. What happens, just a quick question. If land is in my name, given to me from my parents, just say, and government purchased the property, but didn't compensate me as yet, whose name is on the title, and I passes away, what will happen to the compensation?
Your estate would then be able to make a claim for it.
So the children, sister or brother could not go and
whoever's in charge,
compensated?
whoever's in charge of your estate. Let's say, for instance, and I'm no lawyer, so I'm just telling you based on experiences that I have. If you have a will and you die and you indicate, what goes to whom in that will, then that would be clear. If you die what they call intestate, without a will, then some member of your family would go to the courts to seek letters of administration to administer your estate for the remaining members of the family who are entitled, to portions of that estate. So that person or persons who are administrators of the estate then would know that there's a claim to government and would continue to pursue that claim on behalf of the estate.
What you just said is that if a person die without a will, then a family member can go to the courts and claim. That's what you're saying?
No, go to the courts, take out letters of administration to be able to administer your estate. That means, let's say, for instance, you may have left a car, you may have had a bank account, You may have had other pieces of property that hadn't been acquired, by the government. You may have stocks and bonds. You may have various things that the estate could then go and claim for the beneficiaries of the estate.
Okay, well, like what Graham is saying, I mean, they should have compensated the people, especially your own people, long time ago for that. And I mean, I from time Mr. J.E. Banks got in, he been doing a very fantastic job with the funds that he have and the limits that he have. He been doing a wonderful job. Other administrations before, like you yourself read about that property down in the Rockwell area. I mean, these are our own people. The government is our own people. We should be able to help our own people to live better, because life is not guaranteed. We're only passing through this world, and you know how property is in the Cayman Islands. I don't know about anywhere else, and families will do a lot of bad things to families to claim what has been left by their deceased, So I am very glad to know that Mr. J has been doing a wonderful job, and hope he continues on. Thank you, OC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. Any other callers in hold with Susan? Sorry. So I as has been pointed out, this issue with compensation goes back a long way. I believe that what used to happen in the past was that proper provisions were not made for compensation. And in most instances, the government had to go back to Parliament to seek additional funds. Governments had to go back to Parliament to seek additional funds for compensation. I don't know whether or not the government has done this, but maybe they should set up, and whether or not the Auditor General. I have to look back at the Auditor General's reports to see whether or not any mention has been made of this as well, and whether or not a committee, whether it be a committee of Parliament or a committee of civil servants, should be established to look into these compensation claims and getting them resolved as well. I believe we do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller on WhatsApp, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning, Mr. OC. Rambo speaking.
Good morning, Rambo. How are you doing?
Yeah, right here, man. God bless, man. God bless. Mr. OC, give me 2 minutes, right, please. You see, almost racism, it's inevitable, right? Before Memorial. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
In recently, with immigration reform, Bill of Rights, some people comprehend it, some people didn't. In this era, Mr. OC, Cayman is no longer a peripheral concern. You see, man?
Mm-hmm.
So the issue of governance and identity and policy, per se, the immigration reform bill. Because Mr. OC, right? The punchline is, right? Confrontations going to happen now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless disconcerting reality of demographic change and the possibility of perpetual conflicts, you know what I'm saying? Between national interests and imported expectations. You know what I'm saying? So, Mr. OC, like I said again, we need people in Parliament that is bold, with any domestic matters, international matters, regional matters.
Mm-hmm.
We need prowess leadership, Mr. OC. Right? Because our nation's citadel, if they construct or erect, they're not only the physical territory. You know what I'm saying? We need henceforth in the future. Any other thing. And Mr. OC, like, I understand you. We deal with like geopolitical stuff and self-interest. That you drive, you understand? That you drive.
Mm-hmm.
But you see the condition with OC. That's simple. Then a headache. That's it. Then don't know headache or migraine. That's simple. You understand? But the immigration reform, it was like a hurdle. Like a hurdle. Mr. OC, take care, sir. Have a good day, man.
All right, Rambo. Thank you. You do the same as well. We have about 5 minutes before we go to our headline news. Hopefully, our guest will be here in the studio with us. Meanwhile, we do have a message on WhatsApp. Let me read that. This person says, like I said, I can't go into details regarding our matter now, but I just want government to be fair. So this is the person who shared information with me previously that I read. So they say that they can't go into details regarding the matter now, but I just want government to be fair. Is that too much to ask? No, it isn't too much to ask. That's my answer. It isn't too much to ask. I feel sorry for the disadvantaged Caymanians who can't afford a lawyer and don't know their rights. I'm sure that those involved are listening. While there's an indication that this has been given priority, we need to put it way up on the totem pole as far as priorities are concerned. And the rhetorical question is, since governments have embarked on more road building, do we have situations now where property that may have been acquired 2-3 years ago, those property owners have already been compensated and leapfrogged over those persons who have been waiting for longer years or even decades for compensation as well? That's just a rhetorical question. Hope and we trust that that isn't the case, but the writer has a point, and they are certainly taking legal action in this regard. But like they said, what about those who can't afford a lawyer? I'm not sure whether Cayman Islands law allows for class action suits to be brought. Not a lawyer, so if you're a lawyer and you're listening out there, if you can call in or WhatsApp me and say whether or not the laws in the Cayman Islands, the judicial process in the Cayman Islands allows for class action suits. I believe it does as well, but we would want to possibly look into that. Folks, we're going to go to our headline news at 9 o'clock okay, we still have 2 minutes, so I have to find something that I wanted to talk about earlier as well, but what we will do is we will just look at the headlines in our local newspapers today. The Compass, some of the headlines, won't get an opportunity to talk about them, even though there was one that I wanted to talk about. So the first one is New Dawn as planning in environment boards bridge the divide. So we see where the planning and the various government boards, they're bridging their divides. Government, you need to bridge the real divide, the divide between government and poor landowners who need to be properly compensated for their property that has been involuntarily acquired. Also in the compass today, Juliana Myers crowned Miss Universe Cayman Islands. Another story, new deputy governor focuses on recruitment, retention, and future leaders. And I hope and I trust that you all enjoyed the interview here on For the Record on Friday with the governor and the new DG. Another story, Film Commission seeks filming locations to get Caymanians on screen. And this one is extremely important. Jamaica recruits 50 Cuban nurses under individual contracts. And that would be basically, so under these individual contracts, the nurses will be paid directly, not the Cuban government. And I would imagine that is to get around the U.S.'s policy on those against those countries that seek to recruit medical personnel out of Cuba, because in those instances the Cuban government is paid and then the families are paid by the Cuban government. So to get around that, they're being able to go use individual contracts, as well. One more thing, very quickly, before the headline news. We see where several governments in the Caribbean, and Jamaica's government sort of like denied it at first, but several governments have agreed to take up to 10,000 U.S. deportees to a third country to accept them before they are repatriated to their countries of origin. We know we're not a sovereign territory, so anything like that would have to go through the UK. Rhetorical question again. Has the U.S. government contacted the Cayman government or the UK in relation to us participating in that process? We're already overcrowded as it is. But my question is, since other Caribbean territories, all of them independent countries, have been approached, have we been approached? With that, folks, headline news. When we return, we will have guests in the studio, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
The Department of Environment is hosting its next live event for Shark Awareness Day tomorrow. You're invited to watch a dissection of a deceased nurse shark for assessment to determine the cause of death. It's taking place at 10:30 a.m. at the Ritz-Carlton's Ambassadors of the Environment. In international news, a huge fire tore through a bar in Thailand's capital, Bangkok, late Sunday, killing at least 28 people and leaving 25 critically injured. The blaze started near the start of the stage and then spread rapidly, cutting power and engulfing the room with smoke. Footage posted online shows panicked customers screaming as they fled, some with their clothes on fire. Firefighters who arrived at the scene just after midnight quickly extinguished the blaze. They found the bodies of most of the victims in a bathroom where they had apparently sought shelter. And tributes have been paid to actor Sam Neill, famed for his starring role in Jurassic Park following his death at the age of 78. The news was announced by his family, who said his death in Sydney, Australia was, quote, sudden and unexpected. Neill played Dr. Alan Grant in Jurassic Park and also appeared in films including The Piano, The Hunt for Red October, Dead Calm, and Event Horizon, as well as the BBC TV drama Peaky Blinders. The New Zealand Prime Minister described him as, quote, one of the greats, while Australian actress Toni Collette wrote, quote, I love you, dear Sam, you are a hero. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Your Cayman Islands Health Services Authority has been the national healthcare provider of the Cayman Islands for many generations. We have elevated our level of care to ensure you, our patients, have the best possible experience. We offer better access to care close to home with the most locations on all 3 islands, delivering a full range of primary, secondary, tertiary, and emergency care. HSA is a JCI accredited organization, and we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It's my pleasure to have in the studio with me former Premier, former Speaker, former Minister, former Member of Parliament, Honorable W. We'll get that sorted out afterwards. Mckeeva Bush in the studio with us. Good morning, Mr. Bush. Welcome back to For the Record.
Thank you, O.C. It's been a long time that I haven't been here on my own.
That's true. Yes.
And I'm glad that I am able to do so today. Mm-hmm. As this matter of Cubans and it all arise again since Cayman Airways announced their stopping the flights, mm-hmm. and so that all has come. And then, as I listen to some misinformation, the one thing is that I said, political. I don't get involved. I listen. I don't get involved. But when something is pointed at me, and I know it is, and especially when it's wrong information. Really, the political stuff don't bother me. But when it's wrong information, then I want to correct. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And OC, you will remember that the situation of getting the Cuban family here, and even before that, because you was in cabinet. Well, not cabinet yet. Were you then?
No, I was
immigration.
I was at immigration.
Immigration.
That had actually taken place before I joined, because I joined in 1983. But during my tenure there, I saw a lot of people came in with those letters, and I had to deal with them.
Yes,
to get their situation sorted out.
We started that exemption started long time. Mm-hmm. But you was the immigration chief that had to deal with tent city and all that.
Yes.
And that's what I want to go back to that, because it all wraps up into it. Mm-hmm. And just to begin, if I can, right? We know that there were people coming here before 68, 69, when there were the flights direct from Cuba, right? You just mentioning to me one who was a distant relative, who came in 67, and I think one of the first ones since the 50s.
Yes.
Since the 50s, because there were families that came out then, early 60s or late 50s something. I don't know exactly, but we know who all the family is. And so over the years, there was always a family or two making their way back to Cayman. Mm-hmm. But as Cuba economic condition worsened in the late 80s and 90s, more families wanted to come. But that's when my efforts were enlarged. Senior members of my family, more directly the late Uncle Allen E. Banks, not actually an uncle, but a cousin. He pushed the effort to get his sister and family back to Cayman from Isle of Pines. In that effort, many other born Cubans, but with close Cayman family connections, came back to Cayman. And we remember the real stress that we got into from 92 was the huge amount of, although I was in Parliament from 84, was the huge amount of Cubans that fled Cuba and made Tent City what it was. As social services minister then, I was Minister of Health and Social Services, and that was everything under the sun that 4 or 5 of them got now. So I remember this responsibility for Tent City. And I had to go to Washington to the State Department. Truman and John McLean went with me. It was a time our budget was stressed, and I recall the first huge bill, $5 million. That nearly wrecked my social services budget at a time I was trying to increase the financial assistance and housing matters, which was big on the agenda at that time for our seniors. So much so that because the FCO was adamant, once they came ashore, those people in those boats, once they came ashore, Cayman had an international obligation that they had to respond to. The Foreign and Commonwealth Office was not going to step aside. So they put Governor Gore at the time to make sure that that obligation had to be understood. And we were responsible to it. Gore had to write that first check because I refused as Minister of Exco or member of Exco. When I said write the check, we had to sign the papers to get the money from the Treasury. But I said no. If I can't get social housing here and I can't get financial assistance for the very seniors in our country, then somebody else, the UK, had to take up the $5 million. But of course, that never happened. Governor had the responsibility and had the power, the authority to order that check, and he
so
did.
I was under the impression that we had never paid.
Oh no!
The U.S. government, because remember now they also we had the repatriation flights that went to Guantanamo Bay.
Yes,
and that was Clinton administration.
I was told that the governor wrote I told him in Exco, Governor Gore, I ain't doing so. You can do what you have to do under international obligation, but I have a local obligation that I have to deal with. So that Tent City situation was a huge problem. It was a huge problem. It was an international obligation that that Cayman was real facing that issue then and still today for refugees. It even got stricter now. And that was why we had to go to Washington. When I said we went to Washington, was because of that. And here's what happened. The USA was having their own issue with the Cuba situation and boatloads of people. And with that huge boat lift, as they had tried to go north. They tried to go north. However, the man-of-war ship, the warship that patrolled the Caribbean and was to be here on our side to take care of any problems that arose. I don't know if they still got it. I don't know if it's still patrolled the way they used to do. But that ship patrolled the Caribbean and was to be here on the south side of Cuba, in between us and Cuba, when that whole thing, boat lift started to protect Cayman. The FCO, what the FCO did though, they sent that ship on the north side. They had an agreement with US of course. So they sent the ship on the north side of Cuba to help in protecting the Florida coastline. That left Cayman wide open, and we received over 1,000 Cuban refugees on our shores. And with no special buildings or accommodation for them. We were not prepared.
Weren't prepared, no.
We were not prepared. Tent City came into being. That's how Tent City came into being, because the FCO said we had to take them. And I said, well, why don't you pay? But of course, all the time, no, your international is different. And because of our international obligation, FCO, that's what they did.
We even had to pay for the police officers that they sent from the UK to assist us over at Tent City. We had to pay for them as well.
Everything we had to pay for. And that's where I started getting in a problem, with the FCO, because they use these international obligations far too freely. Anyway, that Tent City situation was a huge problem. And while I was attempting to bring back our Caymanian families, it was a huge distraction, and matters slowed down for that effort. But I got it back on track and continued to get individuals and families back to the Cayman to us in the middle and early, late 80s, early 90s. And what I can say, our family obligations to those on Isle of Pines, the main islands with some of them was becoming more pressing, and our efforts had to continue because Cuba was getting to a financial situation, economic situation was unbearable. Of course, today it is probably 100, 1,000 times worse from all the information that we have, and for those that we can manage to get out.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you there so we can go to the commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco. Keeping Cayman covered.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
This is Roy Barton, and I'd like to wish Radio Cayman a happy 50th anniversary and many, many, many more.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have Honorable W. Mckeeva Bush in the studio with us. We're talking about Cuban Caymanians, their repatriation, and what is being done now, what is proposed to be done as well, Mr. Bush.
Yes, so just to wind up there, the families was coming, not a lot of them, sort of 1 and 2 families here and there from the late 50s to 67, etc.
Yep.
What happened there, and I need to put this on record because all the while we Benson was elected in 65, but Benson didn't get into EXCO until 68.
Okay.
So Mr. Willie started that whole process back in the 50s, Willie Farrington that is, and late national hero, and he started it. And when Benson got there in 68, Benson continued. But I found that out after I got elected because all my growing up, I always heard was, we knew that Mr. Willie had done some things, but later getting towards 68, I remember being 13 at the time, Benson had got elected and had continued, and more family scheme in 69, 68. But what is happening now is the impression that is being pushed now is that those who made the great stride to get our families back to Cayman didn't do enough. That's what's said. I don't think it was on your show. It was said on the where the government goes now. I don't know how much they're paying, but anyway, that was said there, and I don't listen. But someone said you need to get this, so they saved it and sent it to me, and the MP for West Bay West was saying something like that. Quite a bit. Reading that she had campaigned on it. I never heard one word from anybody in the campaign about that. Not one word. They spent too much time castigating me. But they didn't. They never made no efforts until that I know about, until this thing has happened March or thereabouts. But all the while, yes, various families have been trying to get back to Cayman. And so as I said, what happened? Not that we didn't do enough. We did what we could under the law at the time. And that wasn't that easy fight because some people just did not want. We know what we had as a government, and then some people did not want to support that position. I'm talking about people in government and people in Exco,
Yeah.
right?
And if I could interrupt just to say that the story that I shared with you, and I'm going to find some way to get a copy of this. She was Castro's prisoner, but now she's back.
Trade Winds.
In the Trade Winds newspaper, that's in August of 1967. A lady by the name of Naomi. I think she would have been Naomi Briseño, I believe it was. Anyway, at that time, the families had to pay the airfare for them to leave Cuba. It wasn't done by the government. The government made arrangements with the British Embassy in Cuba for that. But even in this story, for instance, when she got to Jamaica, because she didn't come directly from Cuba, when she eventually got to Jamaica, I believe it may have been via Panama, but I'll look and find that. Her passport was confiscated in Jamaica until they paid £9, for
that fee to get her back.
Until they paid that £9. Yeah.
I used to have a lot of talk with Naomi. As I said, I know she was brother to one of my distant cousins, and I know her situation, and so that they was some of the single ones that sort of got back to Cayman. It wasn't a whole heap, but certain families did get back to Cayman, and what we did was what was agreed. That was agreed in Exco was to give those that we would get back an exemption letter, but stating that they had to be regularized at some point. They would be responsible for getting themselves regularized. And OC from the 68, 69 flight didn't get themselves regularized till 2006 because when they came here, their thing was to get a job, get money, get working, live as decent life as possible, to get a home. That was the big things. And it wasn't studying then, most of them, to get Caymanian rights. They were on the exemption letter, gave them right to work.
And the other thing also, Mr. Bush, in relation to that is because of this distinction that we have between Caymanian status and being a British Overseas Territory citizen. And I know that there are many people who don't agree in terms of us, the right of self-determination and becoming an independent country. But we have confused so many of our nationals, our citizens. We have made life so confusing and so difficult for them. Some of those who were repatriated from Cuba may have qualified to hold a Cayman passport, British at that time citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies, because they would have received it by descent.
And their parents registered them in Cuba.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah.
But so a lot of people, when they received that that passport, that British passport that said Cayman Islands, they thought that was it as far as their immigration situation was concerned. And it was only later on when they had offsprings who then had to have their status acknowledged, that the whole question of Caymanian status came into place as well.
Correct.
And so, if people were criticizing the government for not doing enough, the only way that I see that criticism should have been channeled was the government should not have left these people on their own to resolve their situation.
Yes.
That letter that said that you're allowed to reside in the Cayman Islands for a period of 6 months, and after 6 months you're eligible, you can apply for permanent residency. That's all that letter said. No one took them by their hands and say, this is the way that you need to go about it. So that would be my criticism, that we should have held our hands further in terms of the process.
As government.
Yes.
As government.
Yes.
Because people like me, in my constituency, where I was most familiar with, right, there's people did come and said, Mr. Bush, we want to get, and they did come. So I grew closer to the situation over the years, but not in the large numbers that ought to have been, because I didn't have the support in the government. And one person who can talk your head off, but if you not got enough votes to do anything, you don't get anything done, and you know how far to take it to. Anyway, a savvy politician understands how far to take it, and I think I could qualify for that. But that the letter of exemption meant that they had to get regularized, and they could work though, and that was what most of them were concerned. Like you just said, all happened was that when the time came that they started to have children, and to get to school, to get to this, that was a huge, huge problem. And people might think, well, they're saying now that nothing was done, but that's not so. A lot was done to help different people, but we couldn't help, at least I just couldn't help everybody. I know that much. So there was, as I said, a lot was done, but it was under much opposition to get it done, right? And so we succeeded with letters of exemption, and they brought children. Some of them went to school. Since then, the influx by other means, we send them to stay, and some of them still on that letter. There were different kinds of points raised with education, because there were the language barrier and there were space barriers. But by then, I was, as you will know, in and out of cabinet. And while in cabinet, as an MLA or MP, I made the effort to help as much as I could with people who came to me in regards to children. And the government, I must say, were trying, if I should put it that way. But, as I said, there were barriers, English barriers for the children and Spanish barriers there, language barriers, and there were space barriers. But we got some of that resolved, and the school coped with it and took them in as much. Now, there are still not a huge amounts, but there are too much. Right now, what is happening? And when the matter started, OC, with Cayman Airways, we said, look, I said, let me see what I can find out. Other people came to me about it. I said, I don't know, but I doubt that the government would have stepped in that way without talking to the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, one, and then talking to the United States, two, and trying to see and making sure that what they are going to do is going to be good for Cayman Airways. And so I tried to get in contact with some people, but they were too busy. I couldn't get in contact with them. I got in contact with the Deputy Premier. And I sent you the memorandum that I sent him, and had a meeting with him on Thursday. I think was the 26th of June?
I think that was the date.
Yeah, that's the date after. It was a Friday afternoon. And then I told him to get in contact with Ralston and make sure that Ralston got a copy of it, and make sure that the Premier got a copy of it, make sure that Kathy got a copy of it, because Kathy and Ralston are hugely affected with various Cuban Caymanians living in the two constituencies, North and Central, that have not been taken care of, have not received any kind of status to that extent. And so they are here either work permit or on visa. And so that is my concern. The concern is, as I said in that letter here, we have family on visa. We can't send them back to Cuba. It is much more difficult even now. When they came, like I had some come last year.
When you say visa, just to visit?
Visa visit, yeah. Okay. Visa to visit. Mm-hmm. And I had two come. They had to get work permit. But you can get a work permit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The gripe I have with that is...
We have Cubans with no Caymanian connections.
And we have the refugees that don't have to get a work permit. And then you're finding that ours, and it's a huge problem for them, cost-wise now, time-wise, and they're still not understanding how to go about things. So, yes, you have to do what we said. We have to hold their hand and get things done. So I help them, some of them get permits, and etc. I can't do much more than that since last year's election.
Okay. Have to go to a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN Money Transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. For those of you who are just joining us, we have in the studio with us Honorable W. Mckeeva Bush talking about the Cuba-Caymanian situation here in the Cayman Islands. Mr. Bush.
So, John, we wanted that little long background, but it could be much longer, and you'll have to read my book to get it when that is published.
Oh, I thought it was published.
No. So we come right down to the situation now. We've got family that we bring in on visa or getting a work permit, And as I say, refugees can work freely. But this other situation is that we do have people still who from the exemption stage who have children born here now and looking the rights for that situation. That I think Rawson has said, and he wants bespoke legislation. And I'm not saying that that's probably the right thing to do. We have to look at it to see if constitutional it even works. However, we must find a way to deal with it. No two ways about that. But you cannot, and this is my position, and that's the only thing that I am looking at right now. When I say that. The situation is that you cannot get legislation right away. That can take a while, if not into next year. I spoke to the premier, and he said, he doubt that he can get it now because it's just so much on their plate. I mean, Cayman is as big as any of the metropolitan countries now with regulations and those sorts of situations. And he will take a while to get the legislation. You've got to find out where people are at, if it's going to affect people directly. So all that has to be done. And I am saying that what we need to do, just do do what we can do right now. And that we can still bring, let's say those that are here, those that are here now on visa or a work permit, they got family, they got children, they got a spouse. Well, we can bring them.
But wouldn't that still involve some legislative measures to take place?
Exemption can work, from what I'm told. If there's anything legally different from what I'm told legally too, then I don't know about it. But I'm told that can do. And then, when the time comes for the legislation, which is I would like to see myself, then they can also be all included and get those that don't have status or regularized to the extent that children are able to go to school without. But you got to bear in mind that there is that barrier, and I think they've got past some of that language barrier. I think they got past some of that.
Okay. So the because I saw some figures earlier in relation to there being probably about 300 Cuban Caymanians who are currently here, not on a permanent situation, who would be affected by this travel, by the interruption of travel.
I don't know
how
many. Yeah, I don't know.
So what are you proposing in relation to them that should be done for them? Because if for instance they're here on a work permit, then under the current legislation they can be here for at least 9 years. Year 8 they apply for permanent residence. So for now, until any new legislation comes into place, they're okay. Those that are here on visitors' visas, if the visitor visa was issued for travel within 3 months to stay for 3 months, I'm sure that Customs and Border Control, they have the discretion whereby they can extend that for longer.
Correct.
And if the government wants to exempt those persons from the requirement of work permits, yes, there are provisions in the immigration law to exempt them, or they can individually, if they want to, apply for work permits. What I'm also hearing you say is that you would also want their dependents who are currently in Cuba to be able to join them at the same time.
They're dependent,
without
that family.
Yeah.
You can't, under the law, you're not supposed to separate families either.
Right, yeah. So they're dependents because the immigration law, again, defines who dependents. It goes even up to grandparents as dependents and everything. Yes. But you would want them.
I was saying constitutionally that might be the situation too.
But you would want them to be able to come here before any bespoke legislation.
Oh yes, that's what I'm saying. Well. That's the interim measures that I want to see taken. That the families here, because we got families, spouses here, and then spouses over there and children over there, we are under the international obligations again, and I believe even our Constitution of Human Rights, you're not supposed to separate families. You're supposed to put that straight as quick as you can under human rights. Separation of families is not allowed. And mind you, OC, Cayman better take this seriously, because we got Hondurans, family. We got Nicaraguans, family.
But they're not under the same situation
Stress.
from a political standpoint.
They're not under the same stress.
Yeah.
But they want the same rights. They want the same rights. And if a child...
But they do have them. They have them now. They have those rights now.
If a child... No, that's not happening, though. If a child is born here, right, and to one parent and the next parent not born here, there's a situation, right? There's a problem. Oh, yes.
Well, right now, you can apply for status if you had a parent or a grandparent. So we have moved it to grandparents, as far as the ability to apply for Caymanian status. We have extended it to grandparents.
Where they can get it, yes. But you don't want to sit down and wait on that situation either, because I don't think all is cozy in what you were explaining. Okay, I'm not aware of all of it. I am familiar with some of it. When the Cuban ambassadors came here, they used my office to conduct their business and have their general meeting, which was a larger crowd, but individual people went to my office and they used my office, and that was done under Riselda helped me. The late Riselda Ebanks, she helped me big with that.
Yes, she was
and also
heavily involved in things like that.
Late after that, helped with the ambassador situation, Ava Tomlinson, that is. And so, it is not something that is just going to walk up and do. But the interim measures that I want to see is to get what we have here to the point that they don't have to go through the same thing, and that exemption letter can help them. That exemption letter can help them. And we do that now. I don't know if it's 300. I thought it was much less than that.
I think I thought one of the newspapers reported that it would have affected something like about 300 Cuban Caymanians who were here and affected
on visa.
Yes, visitors.
Visitors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I don't know. I don't have those figures, so I can't say yes or no. I didn't really think it was that many, but you'd be surprised if it's not. So that is one situation. OC, I believe that we need to do that. That needs to be done. Then work at the bespoke legislation covering all the other factors as soon as we can, with children born here, etc. If you say it's not covered, if you say it's covered now, well, that's good. But I know people that are still having difficulties all around. Jamaicans, Hondurans, and I'm not so sure about Nicaraguans, but I know some Hondurans and certainly the Jamaicans, because it seems to press them worse than anybody else.
Caymanian, as of right, it extends to parent or grandparent born.
But not great-grandparents.
No.
Constitutional, I think that's where it is, that it's not. It does not go that far. So, plenty of them would be affected that way, Plenty of them would be affected that way. Anyway, the other situation is that we got family, and we look at this amount of work permits that we get from all over the world now, Africa, India, Nepal, many countries. And we still have people in Cuba, whether Isle of Pines or people who were in Isle of Pines that went over to the main island. And we got to we need to find a way how we can get them to Cayman without going through Panama, going through this next place. First of all, cost-wise, it's going to be prohibitive. But I'm wondering, OC, and I don't know whether it could work, but I'm allowed to think, whether something like a mercership, if we can't send Cayman in, we organize it with the FCO and organize it with the U.S., to get a mercership in, bring them out as quick as possible. I don't know about the plane, because our government has the right to say we don't want Cayman Airways there, because anything could arise, and then what happens then to your $30 million plane? So
And the situation with Cayman Airways has to do because some people were talking about using smaller aircraft, but their access to fuel is
that's the big issue. There's several risks.
Yeah.
Suppose you get Cayman Airways into the jet, and there's a flare up. Then, at that point in time, one never knows, and so Cayman Airways is blocked. They take the fuel out. All sorts of things can happen. We never know. I don't know. You're thinking what can happen. Well, anything could happen, and so I think the government, from what I heard too, took the position we're not taking that risk with Cayman Airways. But I thought about the smaller plane, but I don't think that has been considered for the same reasons. For the same, anything could flare up. Rubio and Trump, both of them, are heavy on this situation now. People are expecting some kind of flare up this month. Seems that around the 26th is the anniversary.
So how much of this would require clearance from Havana, from the Cuban government, for persons to leave Isle of Pines?
It will require their agreement, of course.
So we basically would have to work through. We would have to work through the British Foreign Commerce and Development Office, unless they give us the ability to negotiate directly with the Cuban government.
Well, when I was proposing to open the office for Cayman Airways when it was booming, Cayman Airways flights were booming. And so that we all thought about how to do that. I had to go to the UK first. And so the UK did send a letter, but gave us that permission to go and negotiate with the Cuban government. Yeah. Although there was one individual who likes to tout that he somehow was so much concerned, but when I was doing that, he was saying, "Oh, you bringing in communism into the country." Anyway.
Let's take our last commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit Cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning with the Honorable Mckeeva Bush. Mr. Bush, over to you, sir.
I'm trying to get these upside down speakers fixed on my ears. Well, see, like I said, I don't know if some of this can work, but you would have to involve the United States, of course. You have to involve Cuba, the Cuban government officials, and you would have to involve.
Why the United States?
Because the big scare is that Trump will not like, and I heard this from government. Trump would not like. He has put an embargo on Cuba, and if we continue, then what? If you might step into his way, and you don't want to do that. One of the airlines, Copa, I heard that they're somehow thinking so too. I don't know what will happen, but I know in between here and Cuba and when we try to get direct flights to, and I try to get direct flight by charter to Isle of Pines, and Griselda worked with me on it. What Cuba were prepared to do, because they had closed their airports there, and they have good airports, long airports, but they said we could go to that island, I can't remember what that's called, in between us and Cuba now, but it's a tourism place, island. We could stop in there, or where they have official flights, international flights, and we could do that still with the Cuban government.
But you couldn't land directly in Isle of Pines.
But if we paid for them to send our immigration, security, and otherwise, they would allow it. But I didn't get that far, because then I think either the election got in the way. I think the elections got in the way. And so we never got that far with it. But I'm saying, is there room for a Mercer ship or a Mercer flight to that key, if not Havana? Because when you get to Havana, then you still have to get over to Isle of Pines, to and fro. And sometimes that vessels, I understand that that boat for water fuel breaks down for weeks. They have one, I heard, and that's a situation. So Cuba is in a terrible, Havana and Isle of Pines. They are terrible situations. And we got family there that we must do something, but we cannot wait and wait and wait, because we waited long enough, and they have, as I said, I heard Julie with that, like, nobody done anything to help. But she wouldn't know, as I said, because she's not all here. Anyway, I still believe that the government can do something. The legislation will take time, because, and you've called out some of the things that would come up, arise in legislation. And you have to even doing that. There's all sorts of situations with legislation, and especially human rights, things that affect human rights. And family here and family out there, we need to get them together. And so I said, let's get the those that are here regularized to the extent that they can stay without a problem, move to work and back and forth, and then we have to work on getting the family here. How we do that? Well, they have to get them here. They go to Panama. That's a cost. That's a cost too. And on the cost on the person here to get 2 children, and a wife here, a spouse here, coming through, go to Havana, go to Panama, and then come to Cayman. So, and some of them are still they're not working in high-paying jobs. They are blue-collar workers, So that's, I don't think that I had planned to go much further than that. But to float the idea of a Mercer ship, and those two
Now, who's working on the numbers? Because at the end of the day, when you making these proposals, you also want to know the numbers that you are dealing with, irrespective of the fact that they're all connected, Caymanian connections. You want to know the numbers that are here now that you need to deal with, and you want to know the numbers that would be coming, as well. And I thought, based on our last discussion, that some sort of committee was being established to be able to to accumulate, to get all of those numbers.
Ralston had announced it at his meeting on the 4th. He announced it that he was setting up a committee. Whether the committee has got started yet, but I know he will. I know that. And if it hasn't yet, I believe it has started maybe over the weekend. I don't know. But he said that, yes, because those you have to get those numbers. I don't know the numbers. I didn't think it was 300. But even with that, OC, how many work permits we got?
Yeah.
And what's the need still? Because Cayman, is developing. Much as people say, oh, you're going too fast. Is still developing, still the need for work permits, still need for common laborers, still need for specialists, because
those are less work permits that you have to
some of them are qualified people, My cousin that came last year, she's an engineer in one of the technologies, right? Her son was in the one of the specialized areas of the army. But they are here now, both on a work permit.
Okay.
So I faced that myself, and of course I have their direct family. Their father is here. So they could get Cayman status. It takes time. In the meantime, you got to go and get a work permit. And that's a hang up right now.
Well, it depends. Like I said, it depends. Because remember, there were provisions in our immigration law that when you were applying based on a parent or a grandparent, that you had to reside here for at least, I think it was 2 years before you became eligible. That was also removed from the legislation, which means Caymanian status as of right. When we come off the air here, I'm going to go through the immigration law and show you parts of it. I believe we do have a caller. Should we grab that caller before we leave? Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor.
Good morning. Good morning.
And good morning to you, Mr. Bush.
Good morning.
I'm listening to the conversation here regarding the Cuban crisis, and I'm a little confused because I heard two other members, a minister and an MP, speaking about this matter. And based on what they were saying, they wanted to rectify, their words, the situation that Cubans who are presently in Cayman are in. Bearing in mind, most of these people are way past senior citizen age. It did not include their relatives still in Cuba. But what I find very confusing about this situation, as they put it, if these people, in fact, were born in the Cayman Islands and went to Cuba and then came back here, I don't understand why they have difficulty in providing documents. Because anybody born in Cayman, their birth certificate is at the registrar. So I'm very confused about it. And I must say, I never heard anyone run on this. I don't know where this came out from as a priority. We have Caymanian children born to Caymanian parents, born in the Cayman Islands, who are facing a worse dilemma than this because they're out seeking jobs. And then they're told they need to prove that they're Caymanians. So they're basically being asked for something that don't exist. And I would have thought that was something that should have taken priority over anything else. I'm not saying that if the Cubans were born here in Cayman, that they shouldn't have a right to the citizenship. But I'm saying if they were born here, I don't understand why they don't have documentation to prove it. And Mr. Bush, don't be upset with me. I do not agree with you that the Cubans left, those relatives left in Cuba should also be brought over here. Because you said something earlier, which I think a lot of people should pay attention to. That is going to set a precedent. It's going to open Pandora's box. And how do we close it? We are already facing an overpopulation crisis here. I don't think that we should put something in place that would add to the problem. We need to get that problem sorted out. And back in 1959, any Caymanian that was living in Cuba had the right to come home. They came home. There were some that came after. You just called the name of one. And for everyone that I know, they have come. They have their Cayman citizenship, and they have no problem. I don't understand why there are some who have a problem with getting the citizenship. I just don't get that. That makes no sense to me. And if I have to be honest, it tells me something is not so kosher there. Maybe
Colin.
that should be looked into.
Thank
you for your time.
Thank you very much, Colin. Mr. Bush.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is we're not saying to bring the whole Isle of Pines here. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying...
No, you want to be a little distance from the mic, otherwise it's coming in. Yes.
Feedback. Yeah, if we are... If we do have people here family here, Caymanian family, parents here already too, who have a spouse or children over there, then I am saying that's what we would target first. That's what we would deal with. And while dealing with our own situation, as that lady mentioned, then we certainly have to pay some attention to that, because yes, the people are asked and pressed today to do all sorts of things, provide ID here and ID there, which I don't know if all of that is just the bureaucracy, because people like bureaucracy and tick the boxes or what, but it's something that I didn't agree with, and I don't agree with it. But nothing that certainly I hope people that listen will understand that. While dealing with our own situation, though, we take into consideration that our present situations, too, from people that we have here, that we have an obligation to, that we have to deal. We can't just sidestep that. No matter how we feel, we just can't sidestep that.
Okay, Mr. Bush, I want to thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I'm sure that we will have more of these conversations, as well as things start to gel in relation to decisions being made in relation to it.
Certainly we'll come back, and I want to thank you, O.C., for your research, because I find that you're good at that.
Thank you.
You go and try to get the facts and historical facts, and I certainly appreciate that kind of work from you.
Thank you very much. I want to thank all of those who participated this morning as well. Don't forget, join Mr. Charles Glidden at 12:15 for Talk Today, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to continue to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Doctor's Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. JN Money, from abroad to Yad. And Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Yesterday,
Today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman